Good morning. Welcome to our weekly real estate humor meme stream. I'm Bill Gross, real estate broker in Los Angeles, California, active sales broker, not a coach pitching you some product or service. And literally I put into escrow in the last 10 days, 5 open escrows. And normally I say I'm pulling my hair out and it's challenging, which is great. We live for the challenge and the stress. But at the same time, we need humor to get us through it. And so I do this every Wednesday morning, 8 o'clock. I go to the Facebook group, Real Estate Humor, and look at memes there and have a chuckle and share them with you. Now, if you're watching this, we're live streaming on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube. If you're watching this live, put your reaction in, put your questions in. You can post a meme in the comments and I'll pick it up. So let's do this together. Let's have some fun. This is not about generating business or business development or prospecting. This is about taking a break before we start the day. I normally start my day sharp at 8 o'clock, but today on Wednesdays, we start with a laugh and have some fun with it. So let's get started. First, this is I don't know, if you put this in a real estate humor Facebook group, what are your best tips for unmarried couples looking to buy their first home together? There's certain realtors who, they're just trying to create more Facebook engagement because some coach told them, post some questions and that will get more engagement. And I think that's so wrong because it's just not authentic. The people tend to do that. I don't know what this person, never met her. But I know several who do this, and it's just not authentic. They pay some assistant who just puts in questions on a daily basis, and it's derived to generate engagement. But it's not about helping the customer. It's not about creating any real value. And they're not really asking the question because they want the answer. They're just looking to create engagement. And so I find it funny when somebody answers, hire me as your agent on the Oregon coast. So yeah, I don't know. Let's start the day with some real estate humor. Here's one. Now this is real life though. Sometimes the funny stuff that happens in real life. Contract expires, the buyer refuses to sign the cancellation, and then a week later, the buyer agent says a 2-week extension to close. This is real negotiation. I mean, it does seem crazy. On one hand, your buyer doesn't want to cancel, and in California, you have to have both parties agree to cancel, get the deposit back at least. And then the buyer may solve a problem. Maybe the reason they weren't able to close was they needed 2 more weeks. And so sometimes it feels like the other party is being unreasonable and unfair. In reality, this is just the process. So I don't know if that's so funny or that's just kind of real estate humor. First piece of real estate humor for the day. How do you get so much business on real estate business? You're amazing. Answer. It's easy. I announce on social media I'm going on vacation. Happens all the time. Every professional will tell you. Their best business practice is let people know they're going to be out of town and everybody wants to buy or sell property. I remember when I got married in 1986, I was in the loan business at the time. And my wife and I went to Florida to get married from California. And then we were going to go on a week vacation. In those days, there wasn't much internet in St. Martin in the Dutch West Indies for a week. And I remember my whole staff being prepared to help me out. And we went. But the week before, I got so much new business in, and it all got taken care of when I wasn't around. And the moral of the story is we can all take off more time than we think we can if we plan our days better. But there you go. Okay, next up is catch up with me. Let's talk about buying or selling your home because I love real estate from my head to my toes. Okay, yeah, again, I think realtors sometimes try a little too hard to generate some engagement, and so there you go. Okay, a lot of fun we make about MLS descriptions, and here's kind of a satire on that. If a realtor wrote MLS listing descriptions, olive oil composed of refined olive oils and virgin olive oils, oil comprised of exclusively olive oils that have undergone refining, and oils obtained directly from olives. So oftentimes you'll find agents will repeat themselves 2 or 3 times. The reason why it happens, I think, is we copy and paste some other descriptions, past descriptions, we make changes, don't read it carefully, and so you will see MLS descriptions sometimes that repeat themselves, obviously, and aren't very careful with it. Okay. One of the common experiences I had this happen to me as a listing agent, I had several buyer's agents call me when they couldn't access the lockbox. Now, in reality, new agents, one thing you need to practice is opening a lockbox. I have a lockbox right there, right? And you got to practice it. You have to know how to make it work. Same with combo boxes. They're all different, and you need to know how to make them work. So what happens when it doesn't open? You're there with a client, you want to show the property. I get these phone calls from people who say, "Oh, my super's not working. Can you can you give me the combo?" We're not allowed to do that really for real estate agents. It's frustrating though. It drives you crazy when you're there with the customer. You got to the property, you're there on time, and okay. So next is common practice. Realtors watch each other's practices very carefully. He's offering a lower commission because he uses his phone to take his MLS photos. Commissions are negotiable. And there are times when, whatever reasons, I have to offer lower commissions. Either it's an easy sale or the seller just insists on it. At the end of the day, it's a negotiation. The sellers have input into it. And there are times I cut my costs. I don't use professional photos on certain types of listings because it's not worth it for the extra cost and money involved. And other agents, that's how they react. They get so upset. It's like, hey, this is a business. At the end of the day, we have a business. Our job is to make customers happy. But people can react, and I think sometimes overreact. Okay, so here is a classic meme we get where, let me kind of show you different players in real estate. And this person took the time to put the players of real estate in from the TV show Yellowstone. Have you seen it? So a cash buyer decides in 3 seconds whether or not to buy and closes in a week. Right, so if you know Yellowstone, he's the patron of the family and makes decisions and runs the household. Next is works 90 hours a week and can only see houses at 5 a.m. We've had those buyers. They just work a lot of hours. Maybe they have 2 jobs. Good on them, but man, hard to work with if you're an agent. Doesn't have the money to pay the inspection. There are buyers who are buying houses maybe very low down with credits and this and that. And the inspector charges, $400, $450. This character in the show doesn't have any money. First-time home buyers with ridiculous expectations of what they can afford. This is classic because if you saw the show, these characters fit perfectly, but they're always nitpicking and kind of fighting. And she in particular, just one of those kind of whiny, complainy type people in my book. Dad who shows up to inspection to make sure first-time buyer doesn't buy a lemon and finds major problems that aren't even minor problems. We've all had that experience, right? This is the bad guy. He's wearing the black hat. Talks about how much money he makes constantly, but the bank statements don't lie. Yeah, in the show, he's dishonest. He kind of looks at, though, that slimy, dishonest type. What else? I haven't seen all these. Hates every needs the good she said, buys the opposite of what she said she wanted. In the show, this is the daughter, and she's a bit of a psycho. And yeah, we all had buyers who they don't like anything that you show them, and then they buy something completely different. You go, what the hell were they thinking? Who knows? They got drunk, or they just, out of spite, bought the house to spite their old husband or boyfriend. New investor paying with cash expects a 20% discount because cash is king. Yeah, there's that. In real estate, oftentimes there are buyers who think just because paying cash, they can get well below the market. And it's not really true. The difference I find between a cash and non-cash buyer might be 3% or 5% on average, not 20% as a general rule. Now, you can buy houses that finance buyers can't buy, and that might be a 20% discount to the market because of its condition. But yes, and this character in the show is that guy who thinks because he has cash, he is the king. A VA buyer after uneducated agents keep convincing sellers to reject VA offers because they are hard. I feel bad. Look, I support vets. I'm not military. I didn't grow up in a military family, but I married into one and I have great respect. And I do what I can when I get a VA loan to try to make it work. Some properties just won't work VA. Some will. And the key I find is you have to find a lender who knows VA loans. There's VA lenders and there's everybody else. And if you get a loan offer, if you get an offer and the lender's a VA lender, it'll work. But some of these buyers don't understand. They picked, I think, unfortunately, Navy Federal Credit Union or USAA, which are great institutions. I bank with USAA. But they don't have a loan rep to sell the agents on working with them, and that's the shortfall. And so they end up feeling This character ends up in the hospital beat up pretty badly. Okay, if you saw Yellowstone, that was perfect. I saw this. I got addicted to that series. I have to admit, guilty pleasure. I'm embarrassed and shamed to admit that. If you saw Yellowstone, put it in the chat as well. Okay, so let's see. Where are we at here? You guys have been submitting so much stuff. Where are we here? Classic real estate agent. What happens when the deal closes? Our whole attitude changes. Commission check hits the account. We want something nice to eat. That's so me. I'm embarrassed to admit, man. I'll be in the office. If that check comes through, I'll DoorDash lunch instead of what my wife wants to make for me or what I should have at the house. That one is true. I have to say, very true, at least for me. Now it's happened to me. It happened to me again yesterday, where I have a customer who's in El Paso. We sent out a document signer, get documents signed. They come back missing one signature, and the one signature is on the counteroffer to accept the deal. Happens all the time. You send documents out to get signed, and they sign everything, but a couple pieces are critical. The look you give when you ask for their email, and it looks like no e-signatures on this deal. Oh, I'm sorry, this is wrong. This is a look when the client can't e-sign. Yeah, it's tough. These days I really rethink, do I want to do the deal or not? I have a deal right now where I've sent out a doc signer 3 times, and we're just entering escrow. And I probably spend about $250 on scans and notary and visits. And I think customers, will occasionally come out to my house and sign up. And it might be, half hour there and back and an hour with them. It's 2 hours to sign documents. So you have to factor as a business person, that expense of time. And so this is the look you get. What I find now is almost everybody has a daughter or son or grandson that can help them with the e-signatures. But yeah, that's tough. Okay, so, and this is so true. People don't understand this one. Being a realtor is like dating. You have to get used to being ghosted by people you thought you really clicked with. It happens. You talk to people. I had it happen yesterday where an agent called me up and said, hey, I have 2 customers who both want to list with you. And they're probates, and you're the probate expert, and we think you can do a really great job. Excuse me. And I call him up, and in both cases say, no, we have another realtor. I don't know why he would say that. We think because they're talking to us, and they're vibing with us, and they're answering our questions, that we have a connection. And there's a gap between that and actually signing a contract. And so I guess the same in dating. I haven't dated for a long time. And my daughter dated for a short period of time in Israel. Didn't really see that happening too close. So I don't have a lot of personal experience in dating, or none, virtually, in the last 30 years. But I do think relationships in general, we have to realize there's processes and steps, and it is frustrating when we think we have somebody and they're going to work with us, and then we find out that they don't. So, okay, so classic meme story is doing things on the cheap. Got my $2,000 deck done today. Yeah, people do stuff and think they save money, and they're going to pay somebody about 1/10 of what would normally cost, and that's kind of what you end up with sometimes. Okay, and this is classic. When you're showing your buyer 17 houses, I'm tired, boss. Don't show your buyers 17 houses. Show them 3. Do your homework. Find out what they want. Prepare. Don't blame them once you get past 3. You didn't do your job right. And then we end up complaining about it. You can complain about it and laugh about it. That's what we're here for, is to have some fun with it. But definitely you want to make sure that you serve your customers. Oh, gosh, this is me as I get older. Trying to read an offer you just received without your glasses. I get them electronically now, and you can make the screen bigger. I know how to do that. But man, I got when people print out and then sign, and then send the documents in or handwrite in terms on the documents. Like, wow, we did that in the 80s and 90s. Do people still do that? And the answer is still they do. Okay, so this is a constant theme. Again, if you're watching this on live stream, put your comments in. Do you like this? Don't like this? Do you have a meme you want to share? Feel free to jump in and participate. I see you guys. I see we got people on YouTube and Facebook, so welcome. Okay, classic. Buyer says I don't need to be pre-approved. And so there's the lender reading, there's the buyer in bed, and there's trying to exercise that thought from them, because the reality is it's so important. I think the thing that buyers don't realize, when you ask them to pre-approved, they think you're insulting them financially, or they can take it that way, or you're questioning if they're qualified. It's not just that. Number one, we want to know we have a clear path to close. Number two, though, I want that lender to be our team to call the listing agent. As a listing agent, I would never counter an offer without talking to the lender. And if the lender can't tell me they're pre-approved, then there's nothing to talk about. So it's just the buyers have this idea, they don't want to do it. And they're just really saying they're not ready to pay the price it takes to do the work. Okay, let's go. The look on this one. So classic memes on buyers who want to offer below the list price and then ask for repairs. Let's offer $20,000 below and ask for repairs. And then the face of, in this case, Oprah, is classic, because you can do one or the other. It's hard to do both. And generally speaking, you can always ask for what you want, but it's a competitive market. In most markets, there's not enough inventory. So, you should look at the property as is and figure at that list price, that's really what they want. If you're coming below because you've discovered something, I guess that's one thing. Okay, let's see. Some of these we've seen in other formats.
I enjoyed it. It was definitely a ball game, but I had a blast.
This one is, what does a realtor look like at the end of the escrow? I have a property put into escrow this week that we're hoping to clear contingencies come Friday. And if we do, I feel like this one, it's been brutal so far. But unfortunately, real estate is not a contact sport. Okay, I think we're going to wrap up with that one. And I hope you had fun today. We do this every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Love to have your comments, suggestions. If you find a great place for memes. And if you find a good one, post it in Real Estate Humor. It's a Facebook group. We have over 75,000 members and growing. Love to have you participate. Love to see you there. If I can help with real estate, I'm Bill Gross. I'm at Bill Gross Probate all over social media. And as always, make today your best day ever. Thanks so much.